Hey, Segovia, back with another one. Today's video, y'all, we got some of the most mysterious videos. That's probably gonna keep you up on this beautiful Friday night. Let's have some fun today, y'all. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
You ever wonder why so many kid shows and kid movies make demons look cute? It's not by accident. Shows like Monster High, Hotel Transylvania, Coco, Luca, and even Turning Red, they are all built around one message. Demons aren't bad, they're just misunderstood. It starts as jokes, and then it becomes love. Then, of course, the scary spirit becomes the hero. The ghost becomes your best friend, and the kid becomes the most powerful once they embrace said ghost. And over time, your childlike spirit will accept darkness as normal. This is psychological warfare, and it may not be rated R, but it is rated to reach your heart. The enemy's goal isn't to terrify you, it's to get you to fall in love with something you should be terrified of. The Bible says, train a child in the way that they should go. But the world is already doing that, just in the opposite direction. Conviction over comfort. Follow me if you're into that. Shalom.
You gotta understand, those skins are $20 a pop. $20 fucking dollars a skin.
It's crazy.
I mean, how much is the game? Like $100? $80? That's the thing, man. Like, it used to be about you ride your bike to the store, you pay $60 and you get the game and the whole fucking game. And then I don't know when, but back in the day it changed. Now it's okay. You pay your $60, you get the game, but then we're going to give you a DLC and another DLC and then one more DLC. And then these companies realize, okay, why only go 60? What about the 60 and then the 20? We make another 60. It's great. So then they stop making the full fucking game. They're like, we're not going to give the full game on release. We're just going to give it like a little bit of the game, and then we're going to release the other parts, the bits and pieces, and downloadable content throughout the rest of the next year. Then they were like, yo, let's make a new Call of Duty every fucking year with 1 billion DLCs. Then Fortnite came out. Now, Fortnite, it's kind of hard to knock it because it was free to play, man, off the rips, and it's got a special place in my heart, man. So it's hard to knock it, but it's all about the little in-game items, man, the skins. That's where they make their money, you know? And I think people saw just what they did, how they did it. They saw all that, man. They took notes. They seen it. The microtransactions. I mean, it fucking blew everything up. It really did. And then Call of Duty kind of copy-pasted. And now they make so much money off of these fucking skins that it's like, why even care so much about the game? Just make good skins that people want to use and abuse in the game. And that's where we're at right now currently in gaming. And people are mad about it, but that's just where we're at. We went from just, here's the full game, here it is, have
no
fun,
skins,
to this today.
The entire... Like, the skins are crazy. I've never been one, when I used to play, to buy skins. And I think what they do is they have these content creators that are so influential to these, young people, talk about, oh, the new skins out, or if you, oh, this guy sucks because he doesn't have skins. Y'all, like, I would rather be undercover when I'm on the game, like, oh, this guy doesn't have any skins, like he's a noob, right? And I'm good. That's how I did it. But they get you with these skins, these DLCs. Like, I never bought DLCs in Halo and Call of Duty. Like, I never did. I don't know. I haven't played video games in a long time. Like, the last Call of Duty I played, I think was Black Ops 4 Warzone in 2020 during the pandemic. I played a little bit, but I don't know now. Maybe you have to buy these DLCs and these skins just to be able to play online and play the game.
Plateau is littered with millions of stones with machine cuts.
We'd love to have a normal conversation with an Egyptologist about this because they won't tell the truth. But here is clearly a machine cut angle.
Here we are at the Giza Plateau. You can see these precise machine cuts were not done by soft copper bars in the age of copper, 2500 BC. And therefore they were not done by the dynastic Egyptians. Now look at this basalt stone. Basalt is the hardest stone in nature. And suddenly you see a flat cut. That can only be done by a machine, not by soft copper bars. They're too soft. They're too imprecise. This is how a machine operates. It makes one large flat cut. Here you see actual deep serrations from a machine cutter going in and out of the hardest black basalt on the Giza Plateau. These machines didn't exist 2500 BC. It was done by a civilization prior to the last ice age 13,000 years ago. And the civilization could be as old as 20 to 30,000 years.
Probably
On the
older.
side here, we can see, the part that broke after cutting this with a saw.
Yep. So this is the circular saw now?
All I can see here is tool marks that has nothing to do with the toolbox of the dynastic Egyptians that made this.
Mm.
Epstein's emails with former Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Barak are being made public for the first time, and they're generally just about how the two of them wanted to start surveillance companies together, how Epstein was organizing meetings between Barak and people like Peter Thiel, the owner of Palantir, a surveillance company that is increasingly involving itself with American and other Western governments. And you also have some really crazy ones like this, where Epstein says, with civil unrest exploding in Ukraine, Syria, Somalia, Libya, and the desperation of those in power, isn't this perfect for you? And there's also this one where Epstein says, Wevy Chine's looking for to start personal protection company in Beijing. Kidnapping has begun. These were released to the public by hackers. They are confirmed to be 100% real, and if you want to read a full article about it, check out Matthew Petty's article, but you can also check out TrueAnon on Twitter, who are about to do an episode about this, and I think many people thought that this was going to be about how Epstein was blackmailing Israelis, but in many ways it's more horrifying, because what it actually is about how Epstein, after being convicted of heinous crimes, was basically using his position and his social connections to invest in mass surveillance companies that are increasingly going to dominate Western society.
Moved to Austin. I hated it. There's shootings there. There's lots of shootings. So people get drunk. They shoot each other. It's part of the culture. It's fun. Everyone there was like, this is the next city.
Right.
And I didn't get it. I didn't understand it. The lake is the color of sewage.
Oh, okay.
It's a deep green sewage lake. There are homeless people. This idea that there's no homeless people there
They're there.
is a lie.
Like, it's so crazy. All these comedians follow Joe Rogan over there, and he feels like, man, we're in the green room, like we're just best friends and busting balls, and it's, normal people wouldn't understand like, these are the things he says, won't understand what goes on in this green room, and if you come in here you think we're crazy, how we bust each other's balls and no one does it like us. But he doesn't realize, y'all, like, these people are in there to make money off you. That's the only reason all these comedians went to Austin, because you run the show. Your podcast runs the show. They get on your podcast, they get views, they get money. Like, how would that feel to you? I wouldn't feel like, I don't want these people around. Like, they're just here off my name and off my brand, off my comment. Like, the real friends, the real ones stayed in LA. Like, those are the real ones that are really about comedy, not just going over here because we're going to get clicks and views and specials on Netflix and all that. Like, so all these little Rogan comedians, I've never been fans of them. I've never really been fans of any of those comedians, but their podcasts are good. Not no more, but they were back in the day.
All right, we'll just turn off electricity to the whole place. We'll just
And then
cut
a
off
Rogan
water
clip.
to the whole place. We'll let no food in for 3 straight months. Not one grain of wheat got into Gaza. And that, by the way, is a direct quote from their finance minister, Smotrich. And not one grain of wheat will get in. And then a few months later, you go, oh, no, but the people starving, they had pre-existing conditions.
Yeah,
It's like, come on, man. Like, what are we doing here? And particularly when it's like, it's just very obvious that this doesn't serve our country's interest in any way at all. Yeah, I was listening to Netanyahu's an interview he did the other day. He was on with our friend Konstantin Kassen on trigonometry, and what was he saying at one point? He goes, "We're fighting Hamas, so you don't have to," or something. Like, does anybody believe that Hamas was about to mount an attack on the United States of America? They were going to take over if it wasn't for Israel sticking up for us and just destroying the entire strip. And it's ridiculous. It's like, you'll still, to this day, I'll be in like a debate or like a panel or something like that, and someone will still start with the question like, do you think Israel has the right to exist? And isn't it amazing that over the last 2 years, that's been the question that's asked so much, when very clearly a more relevant question would have been, does Gaza have a right to exist? Because it doesn't now. You know, like that was the only existence that was ever up for debate. But they flip the thing around and go, well, you don't think Israel has a right to exist? You're like, first of all, I don't think governments have rights at all. I think that's a totally incoherent worldview. And the only coherent worldview is that individuals have rights. There aren't like these massive right. You know, it's like Mitt Romney saying corporations are people or something like that. But I think all people have the right to exist. I think Israel does not have a right to do what it's doing to Gaza.
Bro, what the fuck is this shit, dude? This is Call of Duty Black Ops 6 and 7. A fucking roller coaster on your gun.
It's crazy.
This is what they're doing. I mean, I'll never get it. I never will get it. What the fuck has happened to Call of Duty? These are the pre-order skins for Black Ops 7? I know people only hear me complain about COD. In 2013, I started making videos on COD. I've loved it for the longest time. This is just not Call of Duty to me anymore. I mean, tell me, what the fuck am I looking at? Because it ain't Call of Duty. It's okay, because I'm letting it slide because I got a new baby now.
Yeah. I don't get it. Like, are these people that are creating just so out of touch with reality? Like maybe back in 2013 they were so about the people, like politics, right? You get into politics, usually you're about the people and want to make change. Then you start getting your strings pulled, you start making a lot of money, 40 years down your career, you don't give a damn about these regular people because you haven't hung out with these regular people in 40 years. You've been with all politicians, so all your talks about how can we better our party, how can we do this, right? Is that what these gamer creators are, these game creators are? Like back in 2013, they were like, we want to make what's for the people. But now we want to make money. Like who wants to play that? I don't get it. Like you would think like the people don't like this. They don't like this. They hate it. The real true fan base, they hate it. I don't understand it, y'all. They're going to kill their game. I mean, it's already dead, but they're just going to kill it, and Call of Duty is going to be a thing of the past.
10 minutes later, the second building went off. Did you see it? Yes, I saw it. It just blew up. A big explosion. People started running. It was just chaos everywhere.
No second plane. It was a bomb. Bomb in another building, not second plane. It was a bomb. Who said the second plane?
That's what we're told. The second plane.
No,
we saw it on television.
I saw everything.
All right. Thanks a lot. This is... The first one went off, and then 10 minutes later, this just blew up out of nowhere. Tell me about that plane.
Well, I didn't recognize it as a plane at first. It looked to me like a charred piece of metal, and I had thought that there was an explosion from within the Trade Center.
From my perspective, I didn't know that it was an airplane that hit the building. I still thought it was a bomb, and everything I saw told me it was bombs in the building.
And there is the very interesting case of David Hanshoe. Mr. Hanshoe is a professional photographer for the New York Daily News. He took a famous photo of the South Tower right after United 175 supposedly flew right into this wall.
I was underneath it. I was looking at the tower. I had my camera in my hand. I heard the noise. I never saw the airplane.
He had this view. Each image in the flight path is separated by 1 second. David Hanshoe would have been able to see the plane for at least 6 seconds. He would have been able to hear it coming for considerably longer than that.
Allergies, y'all.
I had no idea what it was, and then the South Tower just exploded. It just blew up, and somebody said that was a plane.
It just blew up. A big explosion.
Bomb in another building, not second plane.
I had thought that there was an explosion from within the Trade Center.
News reporters at the scene also seem to have missed the plane.
The building's exploding right now. I did not see a plane go in. That just exploded.
We want to bring in Mark Walsh, who's a freelancer for Fox. You live just a few blocks away and witnessed.
Dude, I live on the 43rd floor of a building which is 5 blocks from the World Trade Center itself. I witnessed the entire thing from beginning to end.
People talk about how it looked like a movie. I know when I came walking down here early this morning and saw both towers on fire and people on every street corner, it was like a movie, but you watched the planes hit the towers.
I was watching with my roommate. It was approximately several minutes after the first plane had hit. I saw this plane come out of nowhere and just ream right into the side of the Twin Tower, exploding through the other side. And then I witnessed both towers collapse, one first and then the second, mostly due to structural failure because the fire was just too intense.
Ooh, hate to be in the way of that.
They made a pact for 20 years of fame, and he got it. And 20 years to the day, he was shot and killed. But the man who shot him was apparently being driven basically to kill him. Like voices were talking to him to kill John Lennon, kill John Lennon.
I do remember that.
Mark David Chapman, yeah. And then and as I recall, he was exorcised of 5 demons.
Oh wow!
The man who shot John Lennon, and they repeated the pact, like renewed the pact close to the 20-year time when it ran up.
The devil came back 20 years later, collected, sent to somebody who had voices in his head telling him to do this. Now, the theory here makes you think the guy that had the voices in his head, wonder what he exchanged in return to allow the devil to use him as a vessel.
Hey, yo, y'all heard about the new surveillance they doing? They like in North Carolina right now. It's like a blue light on poles or whatever, and it do like face recognition, and you could be driving in your car, no seatbelt on your phone. It'll recognize it.
Reckless.
I heard about
that. I heard no seatbelt on your phone.
On you or whatever, and it'll alert the cop way down the road, like, hey, that black truck, that black Acura truck.
Tag number, all that.
Oh, they already got that, but not besides the face recognition.
But I'm just but now it's like like they doing that, man, and like if you got a warrant.
Yeah, so everything come up. If you want to run or something,
anything,
that's like,
bro.
That's like the damn Minority Report. Remember that
movie, bro?
Yeah.
Word, bro. They making everything like iRobot, Minority Report. Like, it's crazy. So I'm just letting all y'all know, in North Carolina, South Carolina, wherever y'all at out there, man.
You know, they got.
Be careful.
They got hoodies you could wear that.
Like a change of fate.
Have you ever seen the video of Michael Rupert? He was a former Los Angeles narcotics officer. And he was on C-SPAN at a hearing, and during the hearing said, I have personally witnessed the CIA selling drugs in Los Angeles, and everybody goes crazy.
I will tell you, Director Deutsch, as a former Los Angeles police narcotics detective, that the agency has dealt drugs throughout this country for a long time.
Yo, it was great. And he goes into detail. And look, these are all LA people. And they're like, thank you. Look at the head of the CIA. Look at him. That guy's got a human skin suit on. That's a demon.
I have been trying to get this out for 18 years, and I have the evidence. My question for you is very specific, sir. Will you use that classification to hide the criminal activity, or will you tell the American people the truth?
If you have information about CIA illegal activity, you should immediately bring that information. Los Angeles Police Department.
18 years ago, sir, and I got shot at for it.
You hear him? I did that 18 years ago. I got shot for it.
Half the country, Tucker, have prediabetes or type 2 diabetes, and 30% of teens now have prediabetes. This was a condition that no pediatrician would have seen in their lifetime 50 years ago. 1% of Americans in 1950 had type 2 diabetes.
And I can't find it anymore. I found it once. There were, in the 30s, a British physicist got up and said, we are being manipulated, but from other dimensions, by intelligent beings from other dimensions. So I think, if you study Christianity and you read the Bible, you're dealing with both divine intelligence and demonic intelligence. And I think too much of the leadership has gotten deeply involved in the occult and demonic kinds of intelligence.
Wow.
So I just read a book, and I have no idea. So I've tried to find every theory to explain the paranormal stuff. So I'm not telling you this is true, but I just finished reading a book called Final Event by Nick Redfern. I don't know if you've ever read it. And he describes it's a exploration of a group of military intelligence in the United States called the Collins Elite.
Oh yeah, I've heard about the Collins Elite. Yeah.
And they came to.
You ever heard of Jolly West? Jolly West worked for the CIA under MK Ultra and led Sub-Project 43, a psychophysiological studies of hypnosis and suggestibility. Also involved in MK Ultra LSD research, including the infamous Tusco the Elephant experiment. But this dude apparently loved but also loved studying the human psyche. He would test it on people unbeknownst to them, like just find random people and test LSD on them.
What a cool dude.
So in 1962, Jolly West injected a 7,000-pound elephant named Tusco with 297 milligrams of LSD at the Oklahoma City
Poor
Zoo.
thing.
Because he was bored?
The elephant.
Because he had money.
Just to see what would happen?
And he also worked in the Hyatt's Ashbury Free Clinic. It was a clinic where basically troubled people or insane people would go, like a mental clinic.
Yeah.
Not only did Jolly study LSD and all that stuff, but he also was super heavy into studying like the occult and different types of cult. Guess who went through this clinic? Charles Manson.
Yeah.
So the theory is that Jolly recruited Charles Manson in MK Ultra and was testing him, and that's what led to him.
You know, and they didn't tax the American people for that. Because they know they couldn't tax us enough to pay. We would put an end to it. If they tried to raise everybody's taxes enough to come up with $10 trillion because we want to go fight regime change wars all over the Middle East, the American people would have been like, no, we're not doing that. But they didn't do that. They kept taxes where they were. I think they even cut some rates during those years, top rates. And then they borrowed the rest, and they still couldn't borrow enough, so they just print the money. And then essentially what happens is that the price of everything just goes up and up and up. And you just put more money into the system, and then people start looking around and going like, geez, why is the price of housing and healthcare and energy and childcare totally unaffordable? And the answer is because you're paying for the war in Iraq. And nobody thinks about it like that. But that's really what's going on. They can't. So for all the young people who are coming out of college now, and they're like, I'm 150 grand in debt. I have a gender studies major degree or whatever, you know, maybe something better than that, but they got an English degree or something, and they're working at DoorDash, and the average house is going for 600 grand. And they're like, what am I possibly going to do? It's like the reason why these kids are all demanding socialism, at least on the left, is because like, what else are you going to do? Like, how do you even, but the reason why that is the case is because your government decided to spend trillions of dollars on blowing up brown countries, and in some cases then rebuilding them to blow them up again. I mean, this is the actual cost of the thing. And I feel like it's almost nobody outside of like the Ron Paul libertarians, the Austrian economics guys, almost nobody else ever makes this connection. That it's like, this is the deal.
Segovia
you can't
does.
be a world empire without having a central bank that can print money for you, because otherwise it just doesn't work. Resources are finite and you'll run out of them. And so you can't do that without having this monetary system. But the cost of this monetary system is that prices always go up and up and up and up. And that rigs the entire economy against the working class and the middle class in favor of the rich. It's just the way it is. When the value of assets is going up and up and up and up, that's great if you own stuff. That's great if you own stuff and you're selling it. If you got $1 billion in the bank, inflation is your best friend. But if you're on a fixed income or you're a working class person, it just destroys you. And everybody who's working class knows this just from living through the last 5 years. But, you know, your grocery prices go up 30%. That is, you know, that's, you know, people have this idea that there's like economic issues over here, and then there's like social issues over here, or there's foreign policy over here, but it's all one thing. You know, the prices of groceries go up by 30% and families get destroyed. Men swallow pistols. Kids grow up without fathers. Like, that's the cost of this shit.
I mean, and what do? They throw distraction at us, right? They throw distractions. A little mass casualty over here. A little Trump did this over here. A little riot over here. A little immigration over here. Little things that just keep us distracted and fighting each other when we need to come together. We could change this, y'all. We really could. We could change these housing prices. We can change all that. But these people that are in charge are just so smart. I know us watching this, we're like, they're not smart, they're idiots. But to the majority of people that are freaking happy that Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce are getting married, that are like, oh my God, 1,000,000 likes. Let's like the picture. I wish couples goals. Looking for my English teacher, looking for my PE teacher, right? Those people, that's the majority, unfortunately. That's the majority. So they got us where they want us, y'all.
Talk about Young Thug. First and foremost, we've seen him do the whole dress thing. Not only here, but also here. And this was literally the album cover. Ironically enough, in many fans' opinion, this is exactly what catapulted Young Thug's career and took him to a whole different stratosphere. We also see the one-eye symbolism for this album cover, as well as the first award show that he showed up for, the BET Awards here after being incarcerated. He just happened to be wearing this mask and this weird outfit. Many people have said it's giving humiliation, if you catch my drift. We also have, allegedly, an associate of Young Thug who was wanted for some serious charges. Allegedly, a member of Young Thug's crew was arrested on some very serious charges while he was taking part in a certain ritual. Read that again. Hello? Granted, it's not like we could link Young Thug to any of this stuff, but it's still bizarre that somebody in his camp could be allegedly taking part in things such as that. We also have some lyrics that I found, like here he says, I let the devil get my soul. Here he states, evil spirits are on me. Lastly, we see him say, demon child, I could get your mom rich. But the craziest thing that I've ever found in my research of Young Thug has to do with Mac Miller. On October 15th, 2021, Young Thug would drop this song with Mac Miller titled Day Before. Young Thug would later come out and state that he recorded that song literally the day before Mac left this earth. So you mean to tell me one of these celebrities linked up with Mac the day before he left this earth and recorded a song titled The Day Before? Wake up, guys.
Taylor Swift and Travis
Here we go.
Kelce got engaged? What? Wait, you mean right before the NFL season is about to start? Wait, you also mean right before her new album is due to drop
See
as
through
well?
the BS, y'all.
Wait a minute, her dad said that they actually got engaged 2 weeks ago and now all of a sudden the media is paying attention to it? I did comparisons between NFL seasons where Travis and Taylor were dating, okay? But then I did comparisons of seasons of where he was with Kayla instead. You can't tell me that this motherfucking shit is real. Especially when somebody like Trump is making a statement saying congratulations. That right there falls in line with what I've been trying to tell everybody about who Taylor Swift's father is. Which we'll get to Mr. Scott Swift here in a second because there is one specific thing that everybody needs to know about him. But before I do, I want to ask everybody a question. Do you believe in an industry plant? No? Well, why? Because, see, when looking at her father and where he specifically used to work, right? He worked for Merrill Lynch. Right around the time of where BlackRock actually acquired Merrill Lynch. But that's not just the only thing I want to point out. I can't find any executives that are connected to Merrill Lynch that just so happen to be on BlackRock's board of directors. I wonder why. Especially considering the fact that Merrill Lynch initially owned a nearly 50% stake of BlackRock. Now, that's not the point that I want to get to. The point that I want to get to is the fact that Merrill Lynch was acquired by BlackRock in 2006. Taylor Swift's first album was also released in 2006, not even a month after. Wow, what a crazy coincidence. Especially considering the specific side that Taylor chose to stand behind. And now, like I stated was going to happen, Trump somehow formed a connection with BlackRock. Huh, and you haven't noticed Taylor talking about anything in that aspect. But you know what's interesting? There's a lot more to Taylor Swift that I would love to point out and just be completely open about. But every single time that I try to here on TikTok, my video always ends up being deleted. So I'm like, why? Because this isn't just a personal opinion or anything. These are actual receipts being thrown into your face. I tried showing everybody who Taylor Swift's father was associated with, especially back in 2007 to 2008. But I also tried showing everybody what that man invested in back in the 1980s. Apparently, according to TikTok, posting stuff like that is personal records of some sort. I don't fucking understand that shit at all.
Go to my Twitter.
When you invest in the early stages of Clonade, it kind of just makes you think to yourself. Especially considering the coincidental timeline of where Antoine Levy and his daughter Xena, which I'm sure everybody knows looks a lot like Taylor, are known to rise to their fame in. People can say whatever the fuck they want, but when they make shows like Who Cloned Tyrone, do you ever wonder to yourself, like, nah, man, it's actually just a movie. Nah, man, it's actually just a show. Nah, man, it's actually just entertainment. Entertainment! Preying upon your manipulated mind so you can continue to be manipulated. And a lot of that manipulation happens through influence. And who just so happens to have a lot of influence, and I mean a fuck ton of, there's a fucking cult, bro. If you call yourself a Swiftie in 2025, I genuinely want to just ask you, why? Like,
You saw nothing just now on the left of your screen. I need you to watch this very, very closely. I'm going to show you guys something completely unrelated, 1000% not relevant whatsoever in just 1 second. Yes, it's being posted as real footage, of course, definitely. But watch this. There's many accounts on Twitter that are connected with the guy who owns this, and they're all posting this. But there's something here. I can't put my finger on it, but there's something here. This right here is footage of the ocean that we know is footage of the ocean happening right now. Now here's more footage from yesterday, one that had been released prior to this other thing I just showed you up above. Notice anything weird? Okay, now 1000% unrelated. I took the link for that video, you know, that video that we just watched together. I plugged it into a deepfake detector or an AI detector. Failed. The video failed. I also screen recorded me doing the AI test for another layer of authenticity. Leave it up there while I tell you this. So this launch was recorded from a few places, they were saying, but I found something extraordinarily weird and unrelated. Within just a couple hundred miles, like really not far at all from each other, after it took off and it went through all its stages, people were noticing, well, I was noticing, it's different colors. Also, Nishad just did a test, and it looked like that. They said it flew all the way from Texas to the Indian Ocean. This one, SpaceX. Let me lay some fiction on you, just a what if, obviously not a real scenario. What if there's an artifact that was found in the ocean that was able to predict when certain things would be flying through the sky? Asteroid, fallen angels, UFO, whatever you want to call them, right? What if this device was used by the ancient Greeks? And it could accurately tell you when things were going through the sky. Now, what if they were very real entities flying through the sky and they knew when they were coming, which is why they do certain things on certain days, so they would just throw one of these up there? That would be cool, wouldn't it? Of course, we know it's fiction and complete nonsense, but that would be cool, wouldn't it?
Tamar Braxton said that she woke up in a pool full of blood with missing teeth and a fractured nose. She wrote it on her story when everybody was trying to reach her. This wasn't too long ago. Say a prayer for Tamar because her sister Toni Braxton is clearly into some other stuff now, while Tamar continues to proclaim her faith in the Lord Jesus Christ.
Some people light candles. Some people really do pray on your downfall, like really go out of their way. And when I tell you, when I remember I told y'all it didn't work because I truly, honestly knew, and I still know and believe that no weapon of any form that forms against me will ever prosper. Do you want to know why? Do you want to know how I cracked that code? Do you want to know how? It's because now I've been saved since I was about 15 years old. You know what I mean? We've been going back and forth. Sometimes you get saved, sometimes you get, get with the Holy Ghost and stick longer than others. But, I think this time, in this season of my life, it has become something more important to me, and something that, not that I practice, but has become a part of me, right? Because that's just the only thing that has ever worked for me. And the reason why I know that no weapon formed against me shall ever, ever, never prosper, ever, never again, is because I have learned that when I call on Jesus, that activates the force that causes whatever that comes against me to bounce right off of me.
There's power in the name of the Lord. Greater is he within me. Guys, no matter what you're going through, no matter how much darkness has come upon you, nothing is stronger than the Lord Jesus Christ. Call out, and he will save you.
You know, that's true, y'all, because I remember when I had a very, very, very bad episode. I remember I told you guys a while back. We'll get into it one day. I don't know when. But, you know, I was kind of dibble-dabbling in the Bible and all that. And the dark side came at me very, very hard. And I remember my mom saying, say these things, you know, say this certain little prayer. And sure enough, it worked, y'all. They quieted down. They weren't as severe. And still to this day, if ever I have something, I'll just say that in my head, and it works. You know, there's some truth to that.
Heading up at this Minneapolis Catholic school pew-pewing. Just hear me out real quick. I think Robert Westman's a psyop. That's right. So here's what's strange. There's a whole manifesto on YouTube. How long was this manifesto on YouTube? How did that big three-letter organization let this get past them? Another weird detail. There was a journal with Russian with a map of the church. The translation of the Russian was, please help me, I do not want to do this. Like I said, a psyop. Robert Westman also attended the school, and his mother works at the school. Now, I do understand that Westman identifies as a woman, and court documents show that he had changed his name to Robin from Robert in 2020. So obviously, we all know what the elephant in the room is. This is the narrative. Now, when's the last time a Catholic school had this kind of incident? I can't think of one. Now this is getting religious. Is this an attack on Christianity? Have liberal beliefs gone too far? This was all put together. Now, these are all accusations. Nothing here is facts. Well, some of them are. Most of them. But something just doesn't sit right with me here. If I could take a guess, this person was forced to do this. Hence the psyop.
If I were to ask you, you know, there's a varying amount of different entities that have come up in UFO lore. Which one to you sticks out as sort of your favorite out of all the entities and all the existences across all dimensions? Is it, you know, I know you're a fan of DMT, so is it like these little jokers, or is it the surgeons, or what is your go-to favorite sort of alien?
What a lovely question. I don't know if I have a favorite. I like how you sort of defined how you see the word alien as basically just being beyond our current understanding. I don't tend to gravitate to extraterrestrial biological beings coming here. Big universe, how would they know? Even though we've been beaming out episodes of I Love Lucy low these many decades, not easy to find us. If they come here, why aren't they more overt? Sure, they may be doing long-term hybridization programs. Doesn't really ring true to me. I tend to think more of like intradimensional. And the reason I started doing DMT after maybe having done lots of drugs in my younger days is that I see it as perhaps not a hallucinogenic psychedelic drug, but a plant medicine technology that allows us access. So if I had to pick a favorite, I would say, yeah, maybe the machine elves in the DMT realm, because I have a feeling that aliens as we know them are probably AI. They've gone through their own Kurzweilian singularity, probably millions of years more advanced than us, and then can perhaps instantiate as needed in biological or synthetic form. And that DMT denizens, so to speak, are in turn billions of years more advanced than us. And I asked them during a DMT session, are you what we feel to be aliens and UFOs? And the answer I got back, trillions of miles of synapses firing, was, we can't explain in a way that you would understand.
What's going on with Patrick Bet-David? Now look, I like Patrick Bet-David. I like his crew. I like his show. Show's good. I like his interviews. He talks to Andrew Tate. Very good show with Andrew Tate. Talk to Dan Bilzerian. Great show with Dan Bilzerian. Two friends of mine. They're both great. But then today, he has on the Prime Minister of Israel, Bibi Netanyahu.
What?
And that's where you got to say, isn't that a double standard? I understand that Netanyahu is a world leader. So there's a different set of expectations that govern that role when you're a world leader. But Netanyahu is credibly accused of a genocide by the International Court of Justice, International Criminal Court. He was charged with war crimes. And by the way, that's not the Palestinians saying that. The same international bodies that charged Netanyahu with war crimes charged Hamas with war crimes. That's the part that gets buried. They say the ICC is politically motivated. They charged Hamas and Netanyahu with war crimes. And many European governments that are pro-Israel have recognized these rulings as legitimate. So it's not just me. There's massive protests inside of Israel right now about Netanyahu's handling of the war.
I'm getting that little weasel. I don't really know much about this guy, but he's all over the internet. But I'm getting weasel vibes, like Ben Shapiro from this guy. Talks just like him, same pauses, same yelling. I don't know. The first impression of this guy, this is the first clip I ever seen of him. A lot of people are raving and raving about him on YouTube, on the internet. I don't like his vibe, y'all. I don't think he's got good intentions. I think he's paid for by just seeing this clip.
They believe he's dragging out the war to prolong his time in office. But of course, why do you have the conversation with somebody like that? Because it's an interesting conversation. It's a big get. It's a big show. It's an interesting interview. But then when it concerns me, I said the N-word. That's the problem. So on one side, you've got famine, genocide, ethnic cleansing, political assassinations, evading prosecution, arguably taking power, centralizing power in the executive. And on the other side, you have a white guy that deigned to say a racial slur.
This is why
I don't know, y'all. I think the other side, the blue side, is getting ready for 2028. They're starting to put these people. This guy's going to have a big podcast, and guess who's going to go on there? All these people from the left have the same thoughts as him. I think they're suiting up, y'all. They're starting to come into this. They didn't do this last election. They didn't get into the YouTube, the podcast game. They didn't. They need some people. They don't have much in this game, right? Their people are the celebrities, the athletes. That doesn't work no more. That's dead. That's dead. They got to come into this realm. That's who I think that guy is. I think that's the first one. That's the big dog so far. And there's going to be more and more of them. And then when it's time for that election, they're going to be going on those types of podcasts. That's just first thoughts. Now, I don't know a lot. I haven't done a lot of research on this guy. I've heard about him. This is my first time seeing a clip of him. But that's just the vibe I got from first glance.
get ahead, bro. I just bought 3 bags of grapes, and it was $23, bro.
You're making us pay for grapes?
$23 for some grapes, bro. And I didn't really realize the price until after I paid for them, because I'm in a rush. Like, my daughter eats grapes every day at school with her lunch. So I'm like, let me come to the store real quick before I take her to school. And I'm just rushing. We running late. Man, $23 for 3 bags of grapes. Man, hold on, bro.
You better get off that phone.
Because I
if
really
you're
want to
running
take
late.
these back now. This is why people can't save money. Premium white grapes. What is premium? Organic white? Nah, something ain't right. Something ain't right. $23? So one bag was 2.45 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
It was $9? One bag of grapes was $9? Hold on, bro. This can't be right.
That's how they get you with the grapes. Back in the day, they used to be $5 per bag, but now they're $5 per pound. So you buy that little thing of grapes. Those things are heavy, y'all. They're heavy, and they charge you by the pound now. I've bought grapes, a couple times where they got me. I was like, damn, the fuck, why are they so expensive? They're by the pound now. They're not by the each, You got these freaking people. This is why we're not making changes in this country, y'all. Distractions.
1, 2, 3.
Nothing happened. Oh, wow. What the heck? Probably paid to go do that.
Oh, he's the legendary. Indigenous one. That's right. Radio Indian himself. Radio. Welcome, legendary Radio.
Couldn't pay me enough to go
There's all
waste my
this other
time.
big sex going on within the music industry.
You know, one of the people that I believe he has songs with Sage. And then that literally made me feel like, oh my God, all of these abusers know each other.
Yeah,
All of these abusers work together. All of these abusers profit off of like singing about their abuse, and they make money with
Oh,
each
yeah.
other. And
They're all laughing about it.
in these songs, they're literally laughing about it. They're
I've
like,
heard guys say
they're,
that.
Yeah, put it her drink, pass her to the bro, sell her like car insurance. And it's so evilly genius that they drug women, because it's like, how are you supposed to remember anything? You can't recollect your events. We already gaslight ourselves.
You don't remember it, so how can you speak out about it, right?
People are like, oh, you're so courageous. I'm angry.
Over time, our facial expressions etch onto the face. Usually by the time we're like 16, 17. Like if someone's seeking social approval their whole life, this is how we seek approval from other people.
That's why I have the lines on my forehead.
Yeah, because I'm seeing a social person. You see a psychopath? Blank. It looks like Botox in a psychopath. You see a person that spent their whole life super happy and in full enjoyment. You're going to see these crow's feet here from smiling all the time.
On the side of the eyes.
Yeah. You see somebody who's been depressed or angry. You're going to see this muscle right here forms these two wrinkles. This is called the glabella. It forms these two wrinkles. So you'll see lifetimes of behavioral patterns etched onto the face. I call this facial etching. And when somebody's depressed, you see it on the face. But skepticism makes us squeeze the lower eyelid up. And you can see this in anybody. I have no idea whether it's proven science or not. My science is I've done research on this for 30,000 hours in real life on facial expressions. But skepticism squeezes this lower eyelid up here. So the less skeptical someone has spent their lifetime, the more suggestible that person is.
So what are some of the signs that people can see in the people in their lives when they look at them?
Consistent seeking of social approval. I could see somebody 30 yards away and see if they're even 30 years old, 20 years old, those lines on the forehead, and know that that person will be very easy to start a conversation with, because all I've got to do is go, oh, hey, how are you? And the eyebrow flash is repeated by humans 90% of the time without the other person knowing. Just walking by a total stranger saying, oh, hey, good morning. Their eyebrows will instinctively go up, especially if they're a social person. Then if we see anything in the center here, this glabella is a person with
Don't even
anger or
try with
depression,
them.
because that's the facial expression of anger, squeezes those two muscles together. And if you ever see a horseshoe muscle, like right here, it's very hard to fake. I try to do it all the time. But if you just type in grief muscle into Google Images, and you can determine suggestibility by the lower eyelid. And I've tested this with 3 hypnotists who have tested it out on over 15,000 hypnotic subjects. And it is 100%, according to these 3 guys, correct. So those are the most easily hypnotized people in a crowd, because they do like comedy hypnosis in a bar where they like bring people up on stage, like, oh, you're smelling a fart and it smells real bad, that kind of stuff. That is the most accurate predictor of suggestibility I've ever seen. The smoothness of the lower eyelid.
Lil Beppe back at it again, y'all. Look at this shit. This man is completing the ultimate transformation. I told y'all, Little Beppe been acting unusual. I told y'all these tattoos made him look like a bad biddy. Now he just following up on that model, it seems like. Just looking at this picture, I'm not gonna lie, y'all. That don't even look like Little Baby, do it?
Like these are the celebrities that they put in the forefront, y'all. These are the celebrities that have so much influence on young people and adults. There's a lot of adults that worship these rappers still. Trust me, I see it. But these are them. Look at them. Pink Converse, pink roses on his pants, pink shirt, pink hat. I mean, nothing wrong with pink, right? Sometimes I'll rock a little, like a lightish pink t-shirt, but that just looks like a female outfit. Like those pants, those shoes, the hat. You know, I might rock pink with one of these or something, but super feminine, y'all. And these are the ones that our kids, some adults worship at the altars, y'all. Look at them.
Am I the only one? Take a look at the picture from the top. That don't look like that, man. This man really on his gangsta-licious shit, y'all. This man really went pink full down. Look at the hat.
He's roasting
Then
his
you go
ass.
down, he got like a little choker chain jump. Then he got
Roast-delicious.
his little chest area open with the sweater. You go down to the pants, I don't know, yeah, those flowers. And then he got the pink in the shoe. Don't tell me this man got on pink chucks. Don't tell me those are pink chucks, bruh. Bruh, tell me if I'm tripping. This man look like the dude from Got the Club Going Up on a Tuesday. I forgot that man's name, but that's what he looked like. Lil Pepe, we need the real little baby to come back. I don't know who this is, bruh. I do not know what happened to Tyrone, fool.
But American kids are so far behind, man. I have 5 kids, and I have my oldest one, who's 19, went to school in the States. And my youngest have only been in school here in Spain. And the middle ones have done both. So I can see the difference. Dude, my 3-year-old speaks 3 languages: Catalan, Spanish, and English. At 3 years old, my kids back in Los Angeles hadn't even started preschool yet. And I know you're thinking, I'm going to homeschool my kids, man, and I don't want the... And I get, you know, and I understand. But it's not because school sucks. It's the American schools that suck. The schools here in Spain don't suck, dude. Dude, the other day I walked by their class eats lunch outside here on the beach, and I saw all the little kids passing around a bottle of olive oil, dude, putting it on their bread with tomato and cheese and eating watermelon slices. I remember when I first got custody of my middle kids, I went to pick them up at their middle school, which was in Boyle Heights. And I saw them all out at recess, and all the kids were huge. Like, everybody was all big, trying to play. I don't know. They were eating like Takis and drinking Cokes and all that stuff. I'm like, damn, man. The schools here in Spain are 100 times better than the ones back in the States, man. It's not even a close comparison.
You look at the photographs, you
It's
don't have to be an
rubble.
expert, right?
Yeah.
There's no World War II city that looked like that at the end of the Allied bombing. So you say to yourself, like, why do you have to do that?
Why?
I mean, there was an element of vengeance, the sense of like October 7th, which was a brutal, horrific terrorist attack. Some of it is a Bibi Netanyahu feeling like this is my opportunity because it's a wartime situation.
That's kind of what it
You're
feels
a
like.
wartime prime minister. But look at the price you're exacting on innocent people to do. I mean,
The price you're exacting on innocent people, and also like this idea that this could potentially create more security for Israel. I don't know if that's necessarily true. I've never seen less support for Israel around the world, but especially in the United States. I don't know Americans that support what's happening
the
right now.
long-term security of Israel surely is going to be enhanced more than anything else by not having a situation where you've got millions and millions of Palestinians living in your country who have no political rights. Like, how can that be a recipe for stability in the long run, right? Like, that just seems to me to be the biggest existential problem for Israel, because one day you just know it's going to explode.
Get in your car and go to 3 daycares in your neighborhood.
Yeah, that's stop.
And that will stop you.
Yeah.
Am I right or wrong?
It'd stop you.
Forget plan B. Go see what they charge at daycare.
Yeah.
And you will not have no children.
Yeah, they probably charge like $300-400 a week.
All you need to do is go scuba dive a coral reef. There is such a diversity of non-human intelligence there, and I don't know if you've met Avi Loeb. He's a great guy, and I like the way he thinks. He says, "Hey, here we are. The universe is 14 billion years old. The Earth is 4.6 billion years old, and why would, if life has evolved here, so we know it's a property of the universe, why would intelligent life have evolved elsewhere?" And we see it here, all sorts of non-human intelligence on a coral reef and elsewhere I went diving in the Galapagos for one, and that's remarkable. So why not elsewhere? And I think that's something that resonates with me, that argument. It makes a lot of sense. In fact, he likes to say, Why would it be extraordinary to say there's intelligent life elsewhere? It'd be extraordinary if it weren't.
Right. Yeah. Also, the deeper you get in our oceans, the more alien.
Oh my God.
The things look.
Yeah, so I love this because this ocean exploration program at NOAA, that's what they do. They go down with a 6,000 meter rated ROV, and they're constantly exploring and looking for new species, and they're finding them. We are finding new species every year, and they're just bizarre. I mean, they are absolutely alien looking. I mean, honestly, Hollywood hasn't dreamed up stuff as weird as what we see in the sea. Yeah.
Yeah. How deep do those vents get? Those thermal vents. How deep are those?
Well, they're over at least. Well, some are 4,000 meters or more.
Right.
They're different ones.
Right.
But ultimately, that life on some of those is very weird because they're chemosynthetic, and so they're not like us. They're not. They're using. I forgot the different chemicals, but they're not necessarily oxygen. They're not oxygen breathing. They derive their energy differently, and that's a good sign of how weird it must be on other planets too.
Yeah. And also, if you want to talk about other planets, I think most of the planets that we're aware of that exist in like a Goldilocks zone that are able to inhabit life are water worlds.
So far, I don't think we've been able to characterize the exoplanets that are outside the solar system, but we do know that the moons of, I think there's Europa and Enceladus for Saturn and Jupiter. I forgot which one's which.
Yeah. Oh, the moon. Yeah.
They're both ice covered, and they have liquid underneath. And so NASA has actually been funding our ocean exploration program, NOAA's, for that purpose, to develop the engineering methods to basically put a deep diving ROV on a probe that can land on the surface, drill through the ice, and then go explore the under the ice oceans of those two. Yeah, interesting, huh?
Wow, that is fascinating.
Yeah, and we're making so many rapid advances in commercial space, and you look how easy it is to get into space now with what SpaceX has provided.
Yeah,
that we might see that in our lifetime.
Young man exposes his mother for trying to stop him from getting a job so she could stay on Section 8. That's classic.
Getting no job. If you go get a job, they're going to take my Section 8. Then you won't be able to get no Section 8. You're not going to get no job. They're going to count your income against my Section 8 and my link card. You're not working. No.
That's so wrong.
So I don't care what you got to say. I don't care how you feel. You're not working. You're not going to get a job. You're not going to school. You're not doing none of that shit.
Wait, Ma, I'm saying how I'm supposed to be successful in life, Ma. So you basically telling me I gotta be broke to be successful? I gotta be broke so I can get Section 8?
You gotta be
so
broke so the government can help you.
So the government can help.
Yo, this is like, first of all, I don't even know what to believe anymore. I don't know if this is real.
Yeah.
No, let's pretend this is real for a second. Could you imagine your mother just going, "You're not getting a job. No way. You're not going to school. Absolutely not. Are you stupid?" What? I remember my 15th birthday. My mother actually got me a job at Domino's Pizza. I started a week later. She did it for me. She called in, talked to the manager, and sold me. I didn't even have to interview.
If anybody's expecting the next 5 years to be good, I don't know why you would think that, right?
So what do you flesh it out for us?
So Israel and Iran is not over, not by a long stretch. The conflict either goes covert, and there's more covert action between the two, or it continues to fester as on and off overt activity, right? But Israel needs to stay embroiled in conflict. Donald Trump has benefited by Israel being embroiled in conflict. And the only way Israel is going to win back the support of Khaliji Arabs who are staunchly in support of Palestine, the only way Israel builds back that relationship is by continuing to have conflict with Iran or ending their conflict in Gaza. Which one are they going to choose of the two of those, right? They're not going to stop their conflict in Gaza just to win back the support of Khaliji Arabs in the Abraham Accord.
I mean, they've got to stop at some point.
They've got to stop at some point, but
there's not going to be that many buildings left in Gaza.
Well, it also, the end goal was never defined.
No.
So how do we know?
But they've got to stop at some point. This would be a great time to stop, because what they've done is they've kind of distracted the world from the horror that's happening there and get to look like the good guys. This would be like exactly the time to stop.
Except when they stop, there's more bad news after that, because now Now it's actually counting the bodies and seeing the true devastation.
But they got to stop at some point.
They have to stop at some point. I don't disagree with you. But what I'm saying is right now they have a choice. Do we win back favor with the Arab community by helping Gazans or by continuing to put pressure on Iran? It's way easier to win that support by putting pressure
But
on
here's what and again, it's just me testing your argument. But the problem is that President Trump has been very successful with his base by claiming a quick, rapid victory, and then there's a ceasefire, which is, I believe, why he was so pissed off when the ceasefire was immediately violated. If this goes into anything that looks remotely where, like, the people on his right can go, forever war, that's a very bad look for him. Isn't he going to apply a lot of pressure to Netanyahu to kind of calm down?
This is the Ukraine-Russia argument. Donald Trump understands that sitting on his pedestal, he can say, I need the two of you to get along. And when the two of you don't get along, he can say, you guys aren't listening. I'm no longer part of this. That's exactly what he did in Ukraine and Russia. So he can come in, he can say, I need Iran and Israel, you two need to stop this. I've done my part to end this. Now you two just need to be adults. And then when they don't, he's like, not my problem anymore. But I'm going to keep selling weapons to Israel. Right? And that what Donald Trump's base doesn't want is for America to be in a war. They love it when America flies a bunch of bombs and, like, especially after a big army parade and hey,
You're now only going to be allowed 1 hour on your phone every day. There is these plans that have been floating around saying the government are considering screen time limits for children under 16. What this means is each night you will not be allowed on your phone after 10 PM and you'll also only be allowed on social medias for 1 hour a day.
What?
Now, over in the States, in Virginia, they actually passed this law which means children can only use social media per hour as a way to stop kids sitting on their phone every day, all night, and just not getting any sleep. Parents are able to up the kids' screen limits, but a lot of them aren't because they think it's a very good idea to have it limited to 1 hour a day. And as I say, there's been a lot of plans to bring this in the UK, and it's looking more and more likely every day with more reports coming out. With a landslide over 70% of parents saying they would support this and think it's a great idea, it is expected in autumn, September, there will be an announcement that this will be coming into place or something of similar sorts. With all of this coming in the States, there's been a lot of uproar from kids who are saying this is just completely unfair, but they can't even get on social media to complain, really. Or as I say, in the UK, everybody is like, I do not want this, but all the parents are like, we do, this is like the best idea ever. Let me know your thoughts and I'll keep you updated.
So what I'm seeing from that is the parents don't want to be parents. They all support it, but only if the government does it. Like, that's the government is going to start disciplining kids. That's crazy. The parents need to be parents and be the bad guy once in a while, I think. Be the bad guy. Well, if you're so for this, why didn't you do it before this was even a thing? Because you don't want to be the bad guy. I don't know. I don't like that the government, let me do my job. Let me have him on an hour of screen time a day. Let me do that. I don't need you to come do this. Let me do that. You know? It's crazy.
RFK Jr. is calling for reforms to the U.S. organ donation system. This comes after an investigation unearthed a whole lot of reports of doctors, American doctors, trying to remove organs from patients who still showed signs of life, brain activity. Secretary Kennedy says, quote, our findings showed that hospitals allowed the organ procurement process to begin when patients showed signs of life, and this is horrifying. The entire system must be fixed to ensure every potential donor's life is treated with the sanctity it deserves. So let's bring in the HHS organ transplant chief, Dr. Raymond Lynch. Doctor, thank you for joining us on this. Going to read you this quick New York Times headline. Doctors were preparing to move their organs. Then they woke up. A federal investigation found a Kentucky nonprofit pushed hospital workers towards surgery despite signs of revival in patients. Does this shock and horrify you as much as it does a layperson like me to hear?
I think everybody has a right to expect better from the system than what we saw in our investigation.
To not be murdered.
One of the reasons that I don't go home for the holidays is that a lot of people haven't grown
sorry.
since I left. They haven't had 10 years of growth. They've lived the same 6 months 20 times. And when I go back, they want to meet me in my past. And so they want to speak things
That's
over
real.
me that aren't who I am anymore. And then because it's difficult for them to connect their perception of who I used to be and who the person is standing in front of them, reconciling those two things is really difficult for a lot of people because it's breaking the box they want to put you in. But the reality is that most people don't change. Entrepreneurs do because we have to. We call it growth instead of change.
All right, fam. There you have today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you made it this far, you know what to do. Leave a like, comment, subscribe. I got to remember to say that in the beginning of my videos. Believe it or not, it makes a big difference, y'all. But please leave a like, comment, subscribe. But that's it, y'all. We've got the baby today. I've been so busy these past couple days, y'all. I am not happy with this Jeep. Let me tell you guys something. Segovia always believed, I always said I will never get a car payment. Never. I will never get a car payment. And I went against my morals, my values, and I went and got a car payment. Now, the plan was, to pay this car off, by the beginning of the year. That's what I was going to do. I was going to pay a lot towards the principal, like, a lot, right? To pay it off in 5, 6, 7 months. But I didn't do that one. I just paid one payment. I didn't pay that big lump sum. I just wasn't happy, y'all. So I'm taking a loss. This loss is a lot of money, but a very good lesson came from this. Sometimes you got to play with fire to get burned. And boy, did I get burned. So the Jeep they're coming Tuesday. Someone's coming to, like kind of a Carvana type app. Come get it, take it. I'm done with it. I'll pay the rest off, take a loss. It would have been a bigger loss paying that whole thing off because I was never happy with it to begin with. And yesterday I went and bought cash a nice 2007 Toyota 4Runner, y'all. That was always my beginning thing. I wanted to get a 4Runner. I wish back then I would have looked a little deeper and found one for cash. Learned my lesson, y'all. So I got a little Toyota 4Runner. It's clean. It needs a little bit of work, right? It needs some brakes. It needs my driver's side door and my passenger side door. Sometimes the lock doesn't lock and unlock. I forgot what it's called, but I was watching videos. It's a common thing in these 4Runners. And my tires are very dirty, but I bought some tire cleaner and some degreaser. So I did one tire with the degreaser and it worked pretty good, y'all. So I'm gonna, once Mama Bear gets home, because I got the baby, I went out there at 6 in the morning and did it. I'm gonna go out there and clean those tires real good. I need new wheels. But I'm gonna wait a few months. I'm gonna ride with this for a little bit. The wheels don't look the nicest. They're a little faded and chipped and whatnot, but for now they're okay. I was gonna buy some cheap ones on Facebook Marketplace. I might still if I find a good deal, but I was like, if I wait 2 or 3 months, I'll be able to save up and just buy some nice ones, y'all. But that's it. The inside is clean. The engine is super clean. The oil, everything was good. So I'm very happy with it. I will never go back to having a car payment ever. I will never step foot in a dealership unless I have 30, 40,000 cash to buy a car. But even then, I think I'll always go this route, just buying a, $8,000, $10,000 vehicle cash, y'all. So big mistake I made, but believe me, I learned my lesson. But anyways, y'all, I got to get this video edited, get it up for my members. Anyone want to be a member, we got perks. Make sure you guys, if you're interested, link down below. But this is Segovia. I'm signing out of the Man Cave. Hope everyone out there has a good, safe Friday night. I'm going to see you guys on Saturday. Later.